page.
It's time to face the music. It's time to...
Is it actually... God damn it.
God damn it, Greg Land. He's behind it.
Orchestrating this failure. I mean, it says...
Hey,
that
we're live, man.
We are?
You can see it?
Yeah, we're live. I see it.
Okay, good. Do I need to paste another link in the group?
I
or does,
would. Yeah, I would
does
paste
it
another
not
link
send
in the
you
group.
the same? I'm going to see if it sends you the same place.
There's the link. Everybody caught goddamn it, Greg Land already. Wow, we're 2
So
minutes.
we were good and live. We were good to go.
We were 2 minutes into this, and already we're saying Greg Land's name in vain. Everybody caught goddamn it, Greg Land. Everybody caught goddamn it, Greg Land.
We were good and live. We were good to go.
We were 2 minutes into this, and already we're saying Greg.
I'm just posting a link on the group, and then we can officially
It's time
start.
I'm muted, so.
I'm pretty sure I'm muted. I'm just posting a link on the group, and then we can officially start.
I'm muted, so.
Whoop. I'm pretty sure I'm muted.
I hear somebody's reverb.
No?
That is not me this time. I swear.
What?
I'm pretty sure I'm muted. I don't see me have any noise nowhere.
That is not me this time. I swear.
Yep, I'm muted.
I don't see me have any noise nowhere.
Does anybody have an extra window open?
Not me this time. I swear. That's what I'm looking for. I don't think so.
Yep, I'm muted.
Does anybody have an extra window open?
That's what I'm looking for. I don't think so.
I'm muted.
They think that we think that they can't hear us. But the issue at hand is that we can hear us. I can hear me. That we think that they can't hear us.
Should not be me. I've only got one window open.
Yeah, I only have one window open. I don't know which one of you guys is making the noise.
I think I just fixed it.
God damn it, Greg Land.
I had to click out of the page link on the Omnibus page, so we're all set.
Okay. Then I guess we're ready to go. We've got a few people that are watching right now, so we can get into the intro and stuff. Apologies for the regular technical difficulties. We'll go ahead and just continue blaming Greg Land. He's probably cursed us at this point. I think Greg Land has probably at this point gotten the idea that we've been talking shit about him every week. And now he's putting like a voodoo curse or something on us. But
You think that's what it is?
that's what I'm gonna say, because it's every week I have, especially when I do the show, is when we get the most difficulty, and
Yeah, it's
I'm
true.
the one that talks the most shit.
It's true. When you do
Karma.
No, it's Greg Land. Anyway, welcome back to our weekly live show, the Omnibros Live. Once again, we've got Luis from Hardcover Reviews, and we have Jess, the Omnidog.
Woof. Oh, woo! Hit him with the hind.
And then here is myself. I am Omnibus Collector Riley Moore, hosting this week's episode. How are you guys doing today?
I'm good, man. I mean,
Awesome.
a little bit shaken up after the Logan trailer.
I am Omnidog approved. Right there.
Omnidog approving the Logan trailer.
Mm-hmm. Moving, and I can't wait to see it. The hairs stood up on my arms. My little dog arms.
We should say a few words about the trailer, because I know you guys were super enamored by it and really excited for the movie.
Powerful.
Yeah, well, half of it was Johnny Cash's version of Hurts. That was played.
Truth.
That got both Luis and I right in the the heartbeat.
Oh, it makes me cry like a little girl.
Mhm.
It really does. Oh, you want to talk about a powerful song? It's
They
man.
picked a good one to narrate that trailer.
You know, my favorite version of that song is actually the Kermit the Frog version.
There's a Kermit the Frog version for Hurt.
I hurt myself today. Hey, Bert.
I hurt myself today.
Actually, not bad. Good job, man.
Yeah, if you look up "Sad Kermit Hurt," look that up. It's a thing, and he also sings. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie. Was it The Royal Tenenbaums? And there's a scene where, was it Luke Wilson is like he shaves himself and cuts his hair, and then he like slits his wrist, and it plays this song "Needle in the Hay," and there's a version of that song sung by Kermit the Frog.
Okay, viewers.
Needle in the hay.
Viewers can turn off right now because this is the peak of the video. It's not going to get better than that. Kermit singing "Hurt."
This is the best. Kermit the Frog singing Nine Inch Nails. That is the. But he's not singing Nine Inch Nails version of it. He's singing. It's Kermit covering Johnny Cash's cover of Nine Inch Nails.
So what did you think of the trailer? You're the X-Men guy.
I liked it. I know that there's a lot of issues that people are bringing up because it doesn't look like it's following it can't follow the original source material exactly because they can't use the entire Marvel universe outside of just the X-Men and maybe the Fantastic Four if they decide to go that route. But like, do they really need to? And I think that without doing that, without having to use, Red Skull, Hawkeye, the Hulk, Spider-Man, all those characters, it focuses the story a lot, or it potentially could.
I agree. I think if they do it right, because Old Man Logan, it's a story about Logan ultimately, but it's huge. It's very grand in scale, and they incorporate pretty much the whole Marvel universe. But if they focus and zero in just on the X-Men and on Logan, they could have a real good hit on their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked good to me.
Do we know offhand who the director is? Is it James Mangold again?
I believe so, yes.
I think it's Greg Land.
Don't you say that. Don't you dare say that.
If Greg Land actually directed this movie,
it would just be a bunch of different films spliced together.
I was going to say that it could possibly make up for like his horrible artwork. If it wants to. Yes, I just looked it up, and it is James Mangold. It is him, so that's really good. I thought he did a really good job with the Wolverine. I haven't watched like the Unleashed version of it, but I've heard it's really good as well.
Well, this is rated R, so
yeah,
they can do whatever the hell they want, basically. And I think, judging by the trailer, it looks smaller scale. Looks like they kind of cut back the budget because it's rated R, and I'm like, it worked for Deadpool.
Yeah.
And it looks like for big X-Men fans, they're bringing in a certain villain in here as kind of being behind the fact that X-23 is in there.
Yeah. Now, I don't know.
Was teased.
I don't know anything about this villain.
Okay, so it was Mr. Sinister, Nathaniel Essex, which was teased at the end of Apocalypse.
Really?
So he's going to be the person behind the the organization who has apparently created X-23 for this film. That's what it's kind of moving towards. That's what it's looking like right now.
Who's the kid with the skull tattoo in it? There was a teenager with the federal government that was helping them. I've seen him before, I think, in movies. He had a skull tattooed right here. You see him a couple times in the trailer?
I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure, but I know that...
I'm sure he's some mutant.
Stephen Merchant is going to be playing Caliban, which is interesting because we already had one Caliban.
Yeah. I still haven't seen X-Men Apocalypse yet.
I haven't either. I still want to see it. I just haven't yet.
Same.
It wasn't great.
That's what I've heard.
I'll just say that.
Oh,
As
thanks. No, I'm
X-Men.
really looking forward to it.
It was decent. It's cool to see a lot of those characters, but it's not like the best thing ever. I don't know. It falls way behind the previous two movies, but that's my opinion. I mean, you guys go watch it and see what you think. But anyway, the other big trailer that dropped today, of course, was the Nintendo Switch. And
we're talking about, okay.
I don't want to talk about this a lot because this is just going way OT, as they'll say in the group. Way off topic, but I'm a fucking huge Nintendo fan, and I'm always like first in line to get any like Nintendo system, and I'm bonkers excited about this. So like, I don't know about anyone else, but I'm just super fucking hyped right now.
Oh, I'm expecting at least $400 for the damn thing.
I think it was a set price for $300.
Is it?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's really good.
But you know, that's Vidya Games. We can talk Vidya Games another day, but we have other stuff to talk about today. Real quick.
Was that a King of the Hill reference?
Vidya?
What you doing there, Bobby? Playing some Vidya game? Okay.
The boy ain't right.
The boy ain't right.
God dang it, Bobby.
That's a good one. I'm trying to stop the infestation, and you're trying to drive the monkey to the airport.
My grandfather's voice was basically Hank Hill, so
wow.
I got that one down okay. That one and Kermit the Frog was because apparently someone is also Kermit the Frog in my family. I don't know, whatever. But you guys in the chat can talk shit about the Switch all you want, but I'm still fucking excited as shit, and I'm gonna go fucking buy one on day one. I don't care if it like blacks out my entire comic budget for that month of, I believe, March. I'm getting one, and then I'm gonna play the shit out of it, and it's gonna be the greatest fucking time ever. So you can take that and put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Stick it up your nose.
Yeah, put that in your nose and sniff it. But okay, let's get into the real nitty gritty.
The reason we're here.
The reason we're here today. Talk about some comics. First of all, what have you guys been reading this past week?
No, Jess.
Hey, sure. Well, let me move this stack of new books.
Oh, you can tell Probation Pie is over.
Probation Pie is over. I've been reading. The first thing I read was my bound edition of Green Lantern Corps that I had bound.
Show off.
I know, sorry. Here's volume 1. And Luis and Riley insisted that I read this big monster with it, which I hadn't read before. This is Jeff Johns' Green Lantern 1. You can see the very nice bookmark I have here, just in case I need to blow my nose.
At least you don't use toilet paper like I do.
So I'm about a third of the way through this, and it started off a little slow, but man, as it kicked into gear, I love this book, and I'm reading it like a fiend. I loved the Green Lantern Corps, you know, that I put together, so that was great to have both of those together. But I can see why everybody's bonkers over this Jeff Johns Green Lantern. It is fantastic, and I'm really happy. That's going to be the short segment for me because these two books are basically meant to be lifted as weights practically. They're so big. So this is pretty much it for me for this week.
Are you reading them concurrently? Like you're reading them with each other?
No, I finished Green Lantern Corps and then I went right into Green Lantern. I see what you mean that I could have done that, and maybe I'll do that as I go through the rest of my Green Lantern Corps bound books that I had done for me especially.
Yeah, because I always tell everybody, they're like, should I read Green Lantern Corps with Green Lantern by Jeff Johns? And I'm like, you don't have to, but it helps.
Fucking better.
Yeah.
It definitely helps. I mean, Green Lantern Corps is a huge chunk. I would say it's half of the story.
Yeah, I'm seeing that now.
I wouldn't say it's necessary at all. Like, you can understand completely what's going on in Jeff Johns' Green Lantern if you're only reading Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. I mean, aside, of course, whenever it turns into an actual crossover event. But if you want more of what you're already enjoying, then go read Green Lantern Corps, because it's also fucking amazeballs.
Yeah.
Core is really good. Like, really, really good.
Especially once Tomasi gets in there and just puts the quality all up and around and in the book. Oh, yeah.
He made Guy Gardner one of my favorite Green Lanterns.
Guy Gardner is actually my GL. Like, he is my Lantern. I know everyone always has, like, you have your Flash and your Green Lantern. And a lot of people who are around my age, their Lantern is Kyle. But I'm like, nah, Guy Gardner all the way. That is my guy. That is my dude.
Gardner's an asshole, though. He is a bit.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
You can tell by the color in my hair and beard that I'm a Barry Allen, Hal Jordan guy.
You're an OG kind of guy.
I
You're
am.
not Alan Scott? You're not a fan of Alan Scott?
Well, how old do you think I am?
Hey, no. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
I do like Alan Scott. I do have some Golden Age comics. I've read a lot of Alan Scott. But yeah, I grew up with Hal Jordan as my GL.
Yeah, same. I used to read a bunch of old school Hal Jordan comics growing up. I didn't really get into Alan Scott until I was older.
Right.
I was just really interested in Alan Scott being weak against wood. Like, that's really it. Like, I was just like, oh shit, like, that's really weird, like a weird weakness to have. And I read this old, not old, I mean, it's not like really old, it's 10 years old, Batman story by Ed Brubaker that had Alan Scott in it, and he's weak against wood. I was like, that's freaking weird. That's cool.
He'll save you, but if you're in a log cabin, you're screwed.
What are you reading, Luis?
Oh man, hold on, I got my little stack right here. I just started, thanks to our very own Jess's recommendation, Irredeemable.
Yes.
Really good. I'm about 4 issues into it. Absolutely awesome. It's the basic premise is, what if Superman went rogue? And I mean rogue on, he just does not give a flying Kryptonian shit about what happens. He loses it. And in the first few panels alone, Superman, well, he's not, his name is the Plutonian in this story. He kills a kid. He outright blasts a kid, and his mom and the husband is watching this all go down. It is, wow. It grabs you. It really does grab you. And what's interesting so far is that it's also kind of an examination of what would happen in a real life situation if we did have a Superman character and Superman decided, yeah, I'm done with this. They don't get into why the reason it is that he snapped. All you know is that one day he just decided, I'm done. I don't want to deal with you people. I would rather rule than to see you people, than to help you guys. And it's a really, really, really good series to start out with. It's hooked me. I'm probably going to finish the rest of this nice little hardcover tonight. And I think this contains the first 10, 12 issues of it, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably going to end up flying through this tonight because I am hooked. I can't get enough of it. You were totally right. It's a really great story, Jess.
Awesome. So happy to hear that.
I've been reading that, and I also picked up Superman American Alien.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that should be next week's review on my channel. Max Landis, bit of a dick, known to be not the nicest guy in the world, kind of pretentious, but
I'm glad you said that and I didn't have to.
Yeah, total dick. If you follow his his Twitter post, but I'll give it to him. The first few issues, not great. I think he was kind of trying to shoot for a Grant Morrison All-Star Superman, where he tries to kind of capture the essence of what is Superman and kind of try to capture all these different time periods and all these different aspects of him. Hit and miss for me. But for the most part, it's pretty solid all around. So I'm enjoying it so far. I'm 3 issues in. I have to say the 3rd issue so far is probably the funnest, where he crashes down into this water because he was on a plane. He won this trip on his cruise, and he lands in the water, and he lands next to this yacht, and all of a sudden people think he's Bruce Wayne. So he ends up joining Green Arrow on this boat, and he's partying with Green Arrow. It's a really fun issue. It's Really cool. It's kind of like a series of 7 one-shots. It's not bad so far, but there's been a lot of hype around it, and I don't know if it's justified.
I read it when it was coming out, so I didn't get any of the hype because I was making my own hype for it, I guess. And I went into it not expecting terribly much. I just knew, like, man, Max Landis, he knows Superman. He definitely knows the character. And so I expected this to be really good. And I will say, you know, the first couple issues are okay, but it does, like, every issue as it goes forward gets better and better and better. And you get more of that emotional resonance between the character and stuff. And it really does work. And it really lends itself to being one of the better Superman stories that we've had in a long time, especially after the New 52 gave us kind of a rough period of Superman stories.
Yeah.
I think by the end of it, you'll wind up enjoying the majority of the book, but it is 7 one-shots, so it is fair to say, like, you know, this issue was crap. This issue was delightful.
Yeah. Like, the second issue, the art I wasn't a fan of. Like, I read it, and I was like, it just seemed like the poor man's Sean Murphy, where he was trying that scratchy pencil style that Sean Murphy's really good at, and it didn't do anything for me.
I think the first issue was Nick Dragotta, right?
Yeah, and Nick Dragotta's first issue, where it shows him as a kid, is really good. Like, the art on that is really, really good. And the third issue, I believe, is Joel Jones, and that's good as well.
I bought it, but I haven't read it yet.
I really like this, though.
I haven't even gotten it yet.
Under the Dust Jacket.
Yeah, Under the Dust Jacket, the Jock image is really tight.
It's Jock. I mean, he's one of the best right now.
And then me personally, I've been reading, I started to read Squirrel Girl and the Great Lakes Avengers just on a whim. I've had that paperback for a little bit, for a month or two, and I really felt like reading something more lighthearted, something a little more comedic. So I grabbed it, and the reason I picked this up is because it was the easiest place to get Dan Slott's Great Lakes Avengers book. And I've read the first 2 out of, I believe, 4 issues of that, and man, is it really good. Like, in a way that I didn't expect it to be good. Like, I expected, like, oh, I'm just going to get some laughs out of it. But it's actually pretty, like, introspective about the characters themselves that are on this team. And it's one of those books that makes you feel like, you know, these characters that on the outside look really fucking dumb, you wind up being like, man, I really love these characters and I really want to see more of these characters. I was also kind of inspired because I read the first issue of the new Great Lakes Avengers series, and that was pretty fun. So I was like, let's check out what happened before. But it's actually kind of really dark, like, especially dealing with the character of Mr. Immortal, because it kind of has his, you know, he's immortal, so he can die, and he just keeps, you know, coming back to life, kind of like that one character from Invincible.
Yeah.
But his view on this is just really, really depressing and dark, and it makes him a really depressing character. And it also kind of reminded me of Ecstatics, if y'all have read that, in the way that it just, you know, is open to character death, like, every which way.
Yeah.
So it's a really interesting read.
Ecstatics is great. You know that they were originally going to draw Princess Diana in there as Dead Girl?
I believe I did hear something about that.
Like, you could find the cover, the original cover that they drew, but eventually Marvel got back to them and said, what the hell are you doing? You can't have Princess Diana as being Dead Girl.
Yeah. But that's what I've been reading this week. I've been doing a lot of other stuff. Since it's October, we try to watch one horror movie every night, and so we've really been doing a lot of that, and I haven't gotten as much reading done.
Ooh, you should watch Babadook.
I've actually seen that one twice.
So good.
I watched for the first time the other night Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the 1978 version with Donald Sutherland, and holy shit, that movie was terrifying.
Still holds up, huh?
Yeah. Jess, I'm guessing that you've seen it.
I've seen the original.
50s one?
Yeah, and I saw the remake. I saw them both. Yeah, they're both pretty freaky. The original freaked me out because I was 8 years old and saw it in theaters or something, and then but yeah, the remakes viscerally gave me a visceral reaction.
That's no better way to put it. And then just the ending to that movie, I was like, oh god, like when you get to that final scene.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it, Luis?
I have not. I haven't seen it. I'm a horror junkie too, and it's one of the few little gems that I still haven't seen.
I recommend it. I'd heard the name around a lot, and I just never got the chance to watch it. It's on Hulu right now. I would recommend watching it. It's really good, especially for how like simple of a concept it is. It's really just like Jess said. It's a really visceral horror movie. But that's what's been going on with me this week. Did you guys order any new comics from the new stuff this week, or are you planning on getting anything?
I did not, but I did score my whale that I've been trying to score for a long time.
Ooh,
always good news.
Yes,
yeah.
I was able to score Annihilation for cover.
Nice.
Whoa, way good.
Yeah. You cannot find that thing for cover. At best, I've seen it low 200s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, the guy was making it was from our Facebook group. He posted it up, and within like 3 seconds, I sent him a PM. I was like, "Here, I sent you a PM real quick." And then 2 minutes later, you just see on the comment section, it was just PM, 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 PM. Like it was just a list of 10 people trying to get in and trying to buy it because he was selling it for cover. You don't find that for cover anymore.
No.
I saw someone selling Uncanny X-Force on the group for cover as I was leaving work today.
Same guy. Yeah, I got that from him.
Oh wow.
I didn't get X-Force. I got Annihilation.
Oh,
that's really freaking awesome.
That is,
like that's like you don't see many people. As much as people adhere to the idea behind the group and stuff, you don't see a lot of people offering those for cover price. It's usually for trade for something else that's rare. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, usually those guys, if they have an Annihilation, they're asking for more than just like one book or one omnibus or one absolute. They're asking for a lot of stuff to get it.
Or they're asking for Uncanny X-Force for Annihilation.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that's really awesome. Jess, did you get to order anything this week?
I ordered. I didn't order much. I know I ordered Lock and Key Volume 3, and a couple others to get over $50 at IST. But I do have here what I've gotten recently.
Sounds like it's going to be good.
Sounds
like it's heavy.
It's not as heavy as Probation Pie was. I've already filed up top Goon number 4, so I got Goon number 4.
Awesome.
And the Wonder Woman omnibus. They're up top, up there.
Up there.
Wait, why is it not showing right? Come on. There you go. There they are, up there.
Ooh, I like the Goon figures. Very cool.
Yeah, right there. I got those off of eBay thanks to Giovanni Menendez, and you put them. They come with parts that you can put together a zombie with, and so there's a zombie up there too.
Nice.
And then I had come in Fade Out, which I'm excited to read, and second volume of Batman by Brubaker.
Nice.
Also excited to read. Just assume I'm excited to read all these because I bought them.
I'm reading this book.
I spent $50 on this book and I can't stand it.
This book.
Swamp Thing, Dead Don't Sleep. I don't know a thing about this book other than it's by Len Wein and Kelly Jones, but I'm a huge Swamp Thing fan, so I had to get it.
I enjoyed it. I'll go ahead.
Okay, good.
Omni Collector seal of approval on that one.
Excellent. Volume 4 of Grayson, which I'm enjoying due to Matthew Sibley recommending it 400 times on the page. So I'm really enjoying it. This is another Matthew Sibley recommendation, Giant Days, which I know nothing about other than Matthew Sibley recommended it. And everything he recommends, I love. So
Hmm.
I'm one of those guys. I blind buy a lot of stuff, but I invariably enjoy it. Yeah. Superman, American Alien. You already talked about it. And I took a chance. I don't know anything about this except that I love the character and I loved what was done with him previously. And that's the new Hawkeye by Jeff Lemire.
Nice.
And it's a nice oversized hardcover. And I'm looking forward to reading this too.
I enjoyed that run. I know
good.
I had some issue with it. I don't know why, but
it was following Fraction's run. You know how that.
Yeah, it's always hard to follow that.
It's just completely different is the thing. Like it's a completely different direction for the characters. But what was really cool is like it's made up of 2 6-issue series, but both of those series were the same overarching story, and it had like both the past, present, and future of the Hawkeyes all relating to this one, I guess, case that they went on. So it's a really interesting little story. I really enjoyed it. It should be a pretty quick, pretty fun read.
Oh, good.
And Jeff Lemire is always worth a look, in my opinion.
Except for Plutona.
Did you end up finishing that?
Yeah, I slagged it last week.
That's right. Right. I thought you weren't done with it last week. No, you did finish it. And you hated it.
Because the ending was crap.
And he probably just lost interest at the end of it.
That's what it looks like. I think he wanted to go out for milkshakes or something and said bye.
Hey, I think Bendis is kind of guilty of that.
Yeah, he pulls pretty quick, unfulfilling endings a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got, for myself, I ordered the Goon, the 4th volume. I ordered it off of Amazon because IST ran out and they haven't restocked yet, and I'm an impatient little bastard. So I ordered it from Amazon and it's already shipped. And then I also, even though I've gone past my limit for the month, and I really shouldn't be spending any money because we just bought a new car, so it's probably not a good idea. But so I also ordered immediately when it went back up on in-stock trades. I ordered the 2nd Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus.
Hey,
because when I saw the announcement for the 3rd one, I was like, all right, well, the 3rd one's announced. It's about time I buy the first 2. So
we're almost there. We're almost there to having Death of Gwen Stacy in an omnibus.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like once they get to a 4th volume, that's going to be a lot of was it Jerry Conway written stories, and he's one of my like top 5 Spider-Man writers of all time. He's fantastic, and he's still doing it. Like he's still kicking it on Spider-Man books here and there. He's fantastic. But so yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for that 3rd volume. That's going to be a lot of really fun stories. And I can't wait to get that 2nd one, but that means I'm going to have to start doing some selling or some chores or something to make up for it so I can afford that for this month without getting a kick in the butt. But I also ascertained one of my whalettes via our very own Thomas Cummins in the group. So if you see this, Thomas, thank you very much for sending me Extreme X-Men Volume 4 Mechanics. I've been looking for this one for a decent amount of time, and I have not found it even close to cover on anywhere online. And I have never.
That's a big score.
Yeah, it was. I mean, a big little score. It's a little.
Yeah, it's a whalette, but I've been looking for that for you for a year.
I've never read the series.
It's I haven't read this Extreme X-Men series. I've read the 2nd one, but this was Claremont's continuation of his Uncanny X-Men after it went the way of the new X-Men run. And then after this series, he came back onto Uncanny X-Men for the run that followed Chuck Austin's run. So it was kind of it was a tertiary X-Men series during the time that New X-Men and Uncanny X-Men by Morrison and Mike Carey, and then later Chuck Austin were the 2 main ones. And they gave him the option to either continue on one of the 2 main series but be affected by editorial decisions, or he can go and start his own 3rd series. And he decided to start a 3rd series, and that's what Extreme X-Men is. So I've been really interested in it because obviously I'm a big fan of Claremont, big fan of the X-Men, and this is
You like the X-Men?
I guess. But this is the one that's hard to find. This is the hard to find one, and Thomas was selling it for a very cheap price. Even after shipping, I still got it for below cover.
Wow!
So it's really cool of him to sell it to me for such a low price for something I've been looking for a long frickin' time. But that's it for me for this week. I guess now we can get into our main topic for the night, which, as you guys can see from the title of the video, we're talking about comics for newbie readers. That means, you know, we're talking about what series, and we've each picked a few books to recommend to anyone who's never really read comics before. So maybe these are some things that y'all have never read as viewers, or maybe you viewers also have friends who have never read comics before and you want to give them something good to check out to maybe get into the medium. So we're wanting to give good recommendations. And fun fact, my wife actually came up with the topic. She sent us like a dozen different topics.
She came up with, reeled off a bunch of good topics.
Yeah, like every single topic that she gave us was just fire. Every single one. I was like,
we're set for the next 2 months.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're set. We're good to go. But so she sent us that, and I, you know, we thought it was a good topic to go over, and so here we are. But first, I want to ask you guys, as a preface into this topic, a surprise preface. Don't worry.
God, I haven't prepared.
What? I didn't study for this pop quiz. What was one of the first books that you guys, like one of the first comics that you guys read when you were really getting into comics? And I don't necessarily mean like a random issue here or there that you picked up off the spinner racks, because everyone had that. But when you really started getting into reading comics, like on a monthly basis, or reading through trades and reading through entire storylines, I wanted to ask you guys, what was one, just one of the first ones for each of y'all?
I could go first.
Go first.
For me, when I first started to get really, really serious into it, because, you know, as a kid, you pick up comics left and right. You know, you pick up little things here and there. Your parents get you stuff to shut you up at flea markets. For me, it was Walking Dead. A friend of mine, shout out to Armando, my buddy, he's a zombie freak. He loves zombies. He loves everything about it. And he goes, dude, you got to read Walking Dead. You got to read Walking Dead. It's freaking awesome. Walking Dead is amazing. You need to read it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. You know, he takes me to a comic shop here in Orlando, Coliseum of Comics. Really great shop if you guys are interested. And he goes, pick up the first volume. So he buys me the first volume of Walking Dead. And my first reaction to it was, like almost everybody else, does it come in color? And he says, no, it's in black and white. Shut up. And I said, no, does it come in color? I don't like black and white comics. He goes, shut the fuck up. You're reading this, and you're not going to ask me anything else. So I take it home. I sit down with it. And at that point, you know, at that point, I was like used to comics like, oh, superheroes, things like that. You know, the trunks and cape kind. I had no clue that there was indie books and like deeper stuff out there. So I blew through the first 5 issues. I think that's what is collected in the first trade. And I said, holy crap, I got to get more of this. So he may or may have not handed me a flash drive full of some comics. And I may or may not have read up to about issue. Hey, we don't talk about
Louise.
We don't talk about that. I may or may not have read up to issue 70, 65 of The Walking Dead in the span of a week and a half.
Whoa.
I could not get enough of it. And then from there, I just kept going and started buying things, and it was a slippery slope from there. I still remember the first trade paperback, and I still have it, that I bought off of Amazon. I bought the Planet Hulk. That's what I bought.
Nice. Jess, what about you?
Well, mine goes in 2 phases, since I'm old enough that I've had several phases in life. I would say when I first got into collecting, back when I was a wee lad, I think the first thing that really grabbed me, I liked Batman, I liked Flash. I wasn't that much of a Marvel guy, but I think the first thing that really grabbed me was Strange Adventures with Deadman in it. I found Deadman to be a character that was sort of not an anti-hero, but not your typical. I'm sure I was 9 or 10 years old when he came out, but it was like he was a ghost sort of superhero trying to find his murderer, and it just grabbed me as a little kid and kept me collecting till I was probably about 17, when comics hit a very fallow period there, when I just gave up on comics when I was in college. And that was in the late 70s, early 80s, very early 80s, and I just stopped collecting. Then, this will surprise no one, the two books that brought me straight back in 85 and 86, and I've been collecting hardcore ever since. So for, what is that, is that 30 years?
Yep.
86 plus 30 equals 2016. Ooh. Yeah, 30 years would be Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen, because as somebody that grew up with Rainbow Batman and Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, and Superman can do nothing but fight aliens from space, Dark Knight Returns and Watchmen were just two things. Everybody reading comics knows about them. I can't add anything to what's been said about them, how groundbreaking they were, but to me, it was like the scales fell from my eyes, and I was like, whoa, this is what books can really be about. And so after growing up the Silver and Bronze Age, to get those two books back in the mid 80s was what really got me back into collecting, and I've been collecting ever since, really hardcore. And my mom never threw out my old books, so God bless my mother. I still have all my old books.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Awesome. Myself, I had been, like Louise said, I also had the random comics off the spinner rack. I used to go to random comic shops and I'd pick up issues of like Spider-Man or Star Wars that just caught my eye. And I mean, I'd read them all the time. Like, that would be my like go-to toilet book, is like random issues of comics I'd take in the bathroom with me. But I didn't like get super into following series and stuff until way later. And even before then, I was reading a lot of manga because it was more accessible and it was easier because it was like, less than $10 a volume. It was pretty cheap for me, who my budget was basically just however much I could make by mowing people's lawns every month. And I would turn that into comics. But once I started actually having more money and feeling more comfortable with buying stuff, one of the first comics that I read the entire series was the original Secret Wars. So that was like I was already familiar with a lot to do with Marvel and to do with DC, and even a lot of indie comics, because I'd watched all the movies and watched all the cartoons, and I'd read a bunch of random single issues, and I'd done my research like elsewhere. I would read those like encyclopedias and different like source books and stuff. Like, I would read all those things, but I had not read an entire arc or an entire story. And I was so interested in Secret Wars because I was like, this is bringing everything, like all the characters into one little event and having them interact with each other. And plus, I was already familiar with Secret Wars because they kind of adapted it during the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, and I thought that arc was super dope. So I was like, I really want to read this. Also, I know that this is where Spider-Man originally got the black costume, and I love that costume, so I want to see what happens. So I picked it up actually from Midtown Comics in New York, and I bought that, and at the same time, I bought Maximum Carnage. So two nice chunky trades right there.
Maximum Carnage. Wow.
Started the ball rolling. Yeah, say what you will about Maximum Carnage, but that was actually, I had about half of the single issues, and I'd never read the whole series in sequence. And it was always just like, I was so interested in it because I loved, as a 90s kid, I loved Venom, and I was interested in Carnage. But then seeing all these other characters like Shriek and the Demogoblin and stuff like that, I was just like, I want to know what's going on here. I bought it, and I know what's going on there now, and it's a guilty pleasure of mine, I'll just say that. But I loved Secret Wars, and that really just got me going because I was like, well, damn it, I want to read more, comics now. And I picked up basically every single major event of the Marvel Universe and just read through all the major events and then kind of spread out from there. Now, the reason that I wanted to ask you guys this is because I was interested in seeing where we started and if we had people recommend to us, like, Luis, you did, or if we had been inspired by things we had watched on TV or the movies, kind of like I was, or if comics are just in your blood, like Jess. And you just fucking grew up with it.
I mainline Comic Inc.
Some black tar stayed in there. But I wanted to get that perspective because I want to see where we, according to how we were introduced into comics, where our recommendations are. So I thought that would be a kind of an interesting thing to say. I'll just spit out there my recommendations because I wanted to be a little different, have nothing to do with anything I just said. So, I'll let one of you guys start if you guys want to give some recommendations.
I'll let Jess take the floor.
Okay, well, I'll be quick about it. I sort of put mine into segments of the comic book world. I figured that a lot of people are being brought in because of the success maybe of Marvel movies. I picked the first book I'm going to recommend is the twist on the superhero thing, since everybody knows comic books have superheroes in them. Not everybody knows about other things that comic books contain, but I would definitely, and Luis has already singed the praises of Irredeemable. Such a great twist on a superhero comic. I think a new reader would read this and be blown away if they weren't, initially disgusted by the Plutonians' actions. It has such a fabulous ending and so many great twists and turns that I think an adult would really get a kick out of this book. It's easily my favorite comic ever, certainly of modern times. Then I would recommend, based on the fact that I loved this book, I don't recommend the Omnibus like I own. I think you should probably, if you're going to recommend it, pick up the 2 OHCs, because this is really kind of a ripoff for the Omnibus. But Hawkeye, I thought, was light and interesting and fun and funny, and a really good thing to introduce somebody to that maybe saw Hawkeye in a Marvel movie like the Avengers or something. This I could recommend to a friend and say, read this. It's really fun, and the art's great, and it's it's compelling enough that I think somebody would like it, because I loved it. I didn't love paying $100 for the Omnibus when I could have gotten the 2 OHCs that this is taken from. I think, isn't it taken from just like 2 oversized hardcovers?
But
Yes,
you got it for 50.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got it for 50. Okay, I take it back. From IST. Then, if you have a friend that is interested in crime stories, I don't think that there's a better crime writer. Well, Bendis is a great crime writer, but I'm going for crime, Criminal by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. I just don't know anything better than the Criminal series as far as crime writing goes. And this is, before you jam me up with the fact that I still have my cellophane on this. Yes, I still have my cellophane on it. I read it all in singles, then I read it all in trades, and then I finally got it in hardcover. So, no, I haven't read this book yet. It still has a cellophane on, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. It's a great book, and any person that likes crime fiction would love this book. And there's volume 2, then there's Incognito, and he is just a wonderful crime writer. And then the last thing I'll recommend, which is for somebody that likes horror, one of the creepiest things that I've read, I haven't finished it yet because volume 3 of the deluxe editions I just ordered, or master edition. This was a recommendation, as almost everything I read practically is from Michael Watson, and that's Lock and Key.
Ooh.
I would say that this book is, this series, I've read the first 2. This is volume 1, but it's even though my only complaint is really the sort of the cartoony eyes on the characters. If you can see, the characters do have a little bit of cartoony eyes going on throughout this. That sort of detracts from it a little bit for me, but the story is so good, and this is really good art. I mean, you can't question the art. It's actually very good, but the story is incredibly creepy, and you don't know who to trust or what's going on from one minute to the next, and how someone's gonna get it. But it's wonderfully horrific thriller. My hat's off to both the writer and the artist, Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. I think that would be a good recommendation if someone's into horror, scary stuff. That it definitely could keep you up at night, I think.
I agree. Lock and Key is brilliant. I think it is.
Yeah.
Well, those are some really good recommendations. I think you hit a lot of really great notes there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
knocked it out of the park. I think you knocked it out of the park. Really good choices.
All right.
Hey, I'm
Can
the
I come
teacher.
back next week?
You can keep your job. You're not fired yet.
Yay!
Luis, what did you pick?
I've got quite a few choices for you guys. Namely, I'm the kind of guy that I like more violent stuff. That's just kind of the person I am. But Scalped. If you have not picked up Scalped, and this is kind of going on to the crime theme that Jess started,
yeah,
you are doing yourself a disservice. Written by Jason Era and art by R.M. Gurera, Scalped is perhaps, like Ed Brubaker, I would put Jason Aaron up there as one of those guys that he writes kick-ass crime books. Southern Bastards, Scalped. Scalped is absolutely brilliant. It basically centers around the character of Dashiell Badhorse, who he returns after a long time to work on, and I know I'm going to mess this up. I apologize because I know a lot of people get offended if I use the wrong term. I think it's Native American Reservation, if I'm not mistaken, or ranch. I'm sorry. I'm ignorant of that stuff.
Don't they?
Yeah,
I think it is called the res. I apologize. I'm kind of ignorant to that stuff. That's my own fault. But he returns back to the reservation to work for the crime boss there named Lincoln Red Crow. Along the way, you soon find out about, I'm not going to ruin it here because the revelation of what he's doing there is kind of a big thing in and of itself. You find out that he's got his own motives there. And if you are a fan of like a film called The Departed, or if you are a fan of great crime books like Ed Brubaker's Criminal, and pretty much almost anything out there right now that is involving crime, you really do need to pick up Scalped. It's brilliant. It is so, so brilliant. It's scathing. It's a scathing look at what's going on even today in Native American reservations, where a lot of people, we've just chosen to ignore a lot of that stuff. We've chosen to not look into that stuff, and we think, oh yeah, they've got casinos, they're pretty well off. And you look at some of those reservations, and if you take a real look at them, oh boy, it's pretty rough.
And Aaron is writing like out of personal experience in this book too.
Is it really?
He notes that he's seen, well, not personal experience, but firsthand, vision of this stuff. He's seen a lot of this stuff, and he didn't just go into it willy-nilly. He actually did research, and he's been to these areas and seen the stuff that has happened. I believe there's some like interviews and stuff and introductions where he'll talk about that kind of stuff. So it's very, so to say, it's accurate to what it's trying to portray.
Yeah. It's also getting picked up for a TV show pretty soon on WGN out of all the channels.
That is a really random place.
Yeah, I would think this would be something that would be picked up by FX or HBO or something like that. It would fit better in that spot. But Scalped, man, it's something really, really good. And Aaron does. I've read the series already. This is my second time going through it, and I just need to finish reading the last hardcover. Aaron does not sugarcoat the ending. The ending is brutal. It is vicious. And have you read it? Have you guys read it before? Man, that ending. Oh man, he sticks it. I think he sticks the landing.
That's one of my favorite. Not just the ending, but the climax. I guess like 5 issues before the ending. Just holy balls. Like that was one of the comics that really made me like, I put the issue down and was like, oh fuck, and then I like had to go think about shit for a while.
Yeah, and on my reread, you can tell he really had this mapped out because there's hints of where the story is going from like the very first few issues of where it's gonna end. Like, wow, really good stuff. I've got that, and I've got, if you're looking to start Punisher, where else to start? But of course, Garth Ennis's Punisher series, brilliant stuff. I'm gonna speed through this a little bit quicker. Needless to say, the Ultimate Collections are coming out. This has been long out of print. Pick up the Ultimate Collections. You really do owe it to yourself if you're a Punisher fan. My opinion, this is the best interpretation of Frank Castle that there has ever been. And I think the second Ultimate Collection contains my favorite Punisher story of all time, The Slavers, which I've said this numerous times where I read it, put it down, and I grabbed myself a drink and I needed time to relax because The Slavers really pisses you off with how it ends. But if you are a Punisher fan, Garth Ennis now there's 2 runs that Garth Ennis did. He did the Marvel Knights, which is it is what it is. I've heard mixed things, and the Omnibus is like ridiculously out of print. I think it's overpriced at this point for the content. But pick up the Max. You want Punisher Max from him. It's really great stuff. Moving on real quick, of course, it's already been mentioned by Jess. Green Lantern by Jeff Johns. If you're going to start with Green Lantern, he is a very popular character, even today's standard. Where else would you start but the man that changed the run forever, Jeff Johns' run?
That's a good way to put it.
Oh, he totally did. He reinvented the characters. He expanded upon the universe. And talk about a stroke of brilliance. Taking a little bit of a one-shot story that Alan Moore wrote in the 1980s, I think it was that, and then expanding upon it and then introducing all the different Green Lantern cores, all the different colors, which is just a stroke of genius when you think about it. Red, green, blue, RGB, all that stuff. Really great stuff. And you're going to be reading that for a while. And my absolute last one, Batman, Court of Owls.
Oh, yeah. Brilliant choice.
If you're going to start with Batman, why not start here? One of the greatest modern-day runs on the character, in my opinion. Scott Snyder, Greg Capullo, Court of Owls. You can't go wrong. So
no, yeah. Absolutely spot on.
Those were my choices.
Awesome. So for mine, I went in kind of a different direction. Because I didn't want us to step on anyone's toes and accidentally choose anything that anyone else did. And I also don't get enough chances to talk about this stuff very often. So I decided this is kind of a 2-pronged attack here. My choices are for either new readers or for existing fans who have never read any manga before, any manga, however you want to say it. So to say, like fans of Western comics who have never breached the gap, or people who have just never read comics at all. And so some of a few 3 different series that I chose, excuse me, that I think that readers would really enjoy. And this kind of spins out of the fact that I've been reading a lot lately. I've been getting back into reading more of those series. I was talking about the past few weeks reading My Hero Academia. I've been catching up on One Piece. So talk about a few of those series real quick. First, if you're an existing or a fan already of Western series, there's definitely a difference between most of the most popular manga series and then of Western series. And one of those things is that more often than not, people are going to say that the plots are not as deep, because often the more popular ones are the ones that are big with, teenagers, and they're all the shonen fighting series like your Dragon Ball Z and your Naruto and stuff. And while they do have good to decent plots in there. Usually it's true. It's just about people constantly powering up and fighting someone and then getting stronger and stronger and stronger. But there are some series that I would actually recommend to people, and I've actually been recommending to people who have not gotten into the medium yet, but they are familiar with Western comics. I'm going to start with an easy one that I hype up every single chance I get, and that's One Piece. This is the first volume of this series. The main detractor from this series is, well, there's two that I usually hear. Number one, the art is really cartoony. It does get better as the series goes on. Eiichiro Oda, the creator, he does evolve his art style. But what I really love about it is, cartoony of it is, it's very, very detailed. I don't know if y'all are familiar with, I'm going to bring up Brandon Graham's artwork. Brandon Graham, especially in his series King City, where he both wrote and did the artwork, was very maximalist, like the complete opposite of minimalist. It was like all about the little details. Actually, another good one to bring up would be Jeff Darrow. Jeff Darrow's artwork is always extremely detailed. He has little bitty things all over the place, very detailed, every single panel. And that's kind of the way I see Eiichiro Oda's artwork in One Piece. Is it's much more detailed. Now, the story itself, it's pretty simple. This kid in the middle here, Monkey D. Luffy, he wants to become the greatest pirate ever in the world that is pretty much ruled by pirates and the Marines, or the Navy. And he winds up assembling his crew so that he can follow his kind of idol in another pirate and follow in his steps and try to go around the world on this journey to become the greatest pirate by finding the greatest treasure ever, which is called One Piece. It's a really simple concept, but it really flourishes in that the world is huge and the creator explores every aspect and every character. And one of the coolest things about it is that even small characters that you meet at the very beginning of the series, like this kid who was like, I think, on the maintenance crew for the Navy or something like that, you see these characters grow and grow and grow. And like, as the chapters go on, even if the story's not focusing on them, you'll see these characters evolve in the background. And so you'll see this kid who was like just a kid at the beginning of the series who wanted to get into the Navy. All of a sudden he's climbing the ranks. And then, you know, currently in the series, he's like one of the vice admiral or something or other, like ranked in the Navy. He's a higher ranking officer. And it's just really cool. And that's not the only character that does that for. Like, there's villains that it teases way back in like the first 100 or so chapters that become major villains in like chapter 700 something. That said, that's another detractor that I see from people, is that it's way too long. A lot of people are like, well, shit, like there's way too many issues, because One Piece right now is at like 840 chapters.
Holy shit.
Yeah, if you want something that's going to take you a while, as long as you have the endurance and like the focus to get through it, it's really, really rewarding. And it's meant to, as far as I've ever heard and read and seen from the creator, it's meant to end around 1,000 chapters.
Oh, okay.
So he's approaching his conclusion within the next 3 or so years. And I can just tell you, having read through a good chunk of it recently to catch up, it's very rewarding. And it's a fantastic series. And I recommend it to people who are already familiar with Western comics, because of the fact that it has such strong character development and such a very huge and strongly put together world. The next one that I'm going to bring
Luis,
up...
you can start that, but time's running out on me. I don't think I have enough years left in my life. But Luis, you can start it.
How many volumes is that, RYLEY, right now?
Currently in the U.S., I believe volume 80 is due out next month.
Oh my god!
I'd be finishing it on my deathbed.
This is why I don't read much manga.
The cool thing is, if you're really, you know, interested in it, I recommend picking it up by, there's 3 box sets, and the 3 box sets you can find for between $100 to $130 each, and they contain about 26 volumes.
Oh, okay, that's not bad.
23 volumes, something like that. But they'll get you up to volume 70.
Okay, that's not too bad.
It's not terrible to, considering the cover price for 80 volumes would be $800.
Whoa.
It's not terrible.
No.
The next one that I want to talk about is going to be, this one's more recent. This is Attack on Titan. So I know a lot of people have probably already seen this anime.
Yeah.
Maybe you've already read this book. It's obviously one that has gotten the attention of Western viewers because they've been releasing these special editions of the Attack on Titan individual volumes that have cover art by Western artists like Tony Moore and stuff. And when it was originally published in the US, it was actually being billed towards fans of like The Walking Dead, and it was like, this is Japan's Walking Dead. And I can kind of see where they were going with that, but it's not a zombie series, so I think some people might have been confused by that. It's a fantastic series, though. It's just like I mentioned with One Piece, it focuses a lot on building that world and building these characters, but it's not quite as long. It's only about 20 volumes long, and you can collect 15 out of those 20 volumes, so 3/4 of the material that's already out across 3 of these big colossal editions, which are bigger than normal Western trade paperback editions. So they're pretty nice size, especially when you compare that to the size of like regular manga, which is like pocketbook size. I just spoiled my third right there. But
good choice, by the way.
Yeah, but it's a really great series. It follows the characters really closely and stuff. It's not terribly hard to get into. The anime is also available on, I think, Netflix and Hulu. So if you're interested in just checking it out and seeing what it's all about, it's real easy to get into and kind of see what the hype is all about. The idea behind the story, just before I forget to actually talk about that, the concept is this world where there are these things called the Titans. The Titans are these large, misformed humans that run around naked and eat people. And
what's not to like?
It's up to this this group of, like, it's this little militaristic group, and they run around with these special mechanisms that allow them to fight vertically, to climb up the Titans and kill them by reaching their weak point, which is the back of their neck. So they must defend the remaining cities because something has happened in the past to create these Titans, and they haven't revealed, or they don't reveal right at the beginning at least, what that is. But they've contained the cities into behind these walls, and it's the job of these, this military group to protect the city from the Titans. And as the series goes forward, you're introduced to all these characters. It gets deeper. You learn more about the past, and you get to see different type of Titans, including the Colossal Titan, which is just this immensely huge Titan that's like the one that really fucks them over as far as breaking through their defense. It's a really fun series. I recommend it. Obviously, I'm talking about it right now, but it's as opposed to One Piece, it's a lot more obtainable because it's a lot shorter.
Can you show any artwork from it real quick?
Yeah. Let me see if I can find a good.
I hate Aaron in the series. I can't stand the main character.
There's some good. There's some color artwork in there.
Yeah. I like all the side characters. I'm not a fan of Aaron.
I don't know the series at all, so this is interesting.
There's a big arm coming, so you can just see the scale of these Titans as they're coming to attack.
The coloring is beautiful.
Yeah, the color on that stuff is beautiful, and then the artwork can get kind of weird, like the malformed Titans, the ones that are not exactly completely humanoid. They look really weird, and you just see some weird-looking naked people running around. But it's really fun. It's fun because it's also very like humorous, and it kind of knows that it's weird, and it uses that to its own advantage by like, emphasizing the weird naked people.
It embraces it.
Yeah, it definitely does. It definitely embraces its weirdness, and it also embraces it by, you can see they've released a lot of parody series about it. Moving forward, my last recommendation for manga is going to be Full Metal Alchemist.
Yes.
I flashed this briefly. And there's great reason why I recommend this series, and it's because this does not read at all like a shonen manga series. This is a complex story dealing with complex characters in a world that is very well contained and very well put together by creator Hiromu Arakawa. And she just does a beautiful job from volume 1 all the way to the last volume of telling the story of the brothers Edward and Alphonse Elric, who the idea behind the series, a lot of people are already familiar with this series because it was very popular around like 05 or so, and it was airing on Toonami, and then popular once again whenever they aired the Brotherhood anime, which I never watched because I've already read the manga and I didn't really need to watch it. But the story, for those who are uninitiated, Alphonse and Edward, sorry, their mother has died, and basically they want to resurrect her through means of alchemy. And in this world, alchemy is a very popular thing that is used. But just like alchemy is explained in real science, you know, what is, you know, given must be taken from somewhere. It's, you know, equivalent exchange. So if they want to resurrect their mother, they have to pull that from somewhere. So they essentially give up pieces of their body. In Alphonse's case, he gives up his entire body and is now just a soul living in a armor. So they go forward and you know, interact with a bunch of, you know, this military that has a bunch of alchemists. So you interact with other alchemists, working towards figuring out how they can possibly actually resurrect their mother, because when they attempted to, it was just a mass of goop and flesh and organs that had no soul, because if you can alchemize a body, you still can't create a soul, which was the main issue there. And so the series follows these brothers on their adventures as they interact with all these different characters, trying to discover if it is in fact possible, and if it's possible for them to gain their own bodies back. That's just a really, really simple version of the story, just to not spoil anything for anyone, because it gets very complex. It's very deep. It's very dark. And it's very, very well written. It's a fan-freaking-tastic series. It too comes in a manga, a box set similar to the One Piece ones that has the entire series. I don't know what the price goes for, but if I happen to,
sorry,
120,
142 for the entire box set that contains volumes 1 through 27, if I'm not mistaken, on Amazon. Let me take a look.
Awesome.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
If you are intrigued by it, by me talking about that, definitely, you know, that's a really good deal for the 27 volumes. It's about half of the cover price for that entire series, and it's really goddamn good. It's, I think, one of the best examples of a manga series that can really lend itself to Western crowds, because it's very clear that she was going for Western themes when she created this series. Just the, you know, the settings and what the characters are doing, character names, all of that stuff. I'm gonna see if I can find some good artwork. The artwork's also pretty great for, you know, a manga series. It's simplistic, but it's detailed in all the right places. It's just, it's great, and it's heartbreaking. It's emotional. You get a fantastic series from beginning to end. I can't recommend that series more, especially for people who may have not gotten into manga yet. So,
yeah, there's one on eBay.
Those are some good recommendations.
If you guys are looking for it, there's one on eBay right now, because I'm looking to buy it right now. Like it, I've watched Brotherhood, and I absolutely adore Full Metal Alchemist. I mean, I have the Human Transmutation Circle tattooed on my chest. But I've never read the manga. I'm looking at it right now, and there's one on eBay going for $120 for the box set. And I'm like this close from pulling the trigger on it, because it looks.
Do it live. Let's see you do it.
No, I can't right now. I'm not gonna Bill O'Reilly it.
Do it live.
I think there's like 3 people in the chat that'll get that.
Right. I'll write it myself, and we'll do it live.
It's really, it's worth it, I think. And I know a lot of people will always say, like, you know, watch the anime, watch the anime, watch the anime. if you want to, it is available on Netflix. I believe Brotherhood is entirely available there, and that's the one that sticks to the actual manga. The first series stuck to it until about the halfway point, and then they just went off into another direction because the series was still ongoing in print. So, they just had to make up something to continue, and it goes off and does its own thing, and it was good, but it wasn't as good as what actually happens. So if you just want the easy way out, if you don't want to spend the money on it, go watch the anime. It's on Netflix. I believe it's like 52 episodes.
No.
You'll get sucked into it and watch the whole thing. And then you'll want to buy the manga, and that's the right thing to do.
You've got me interested on TAC, the big naked people. That sounded interesting.
They
I like
had
the sound of that.
They had big naked people.
Right, that eat other people. That sounded good.
The big naked men and the big naked ladies.
Oh, there's naked ladies in it? Nice.
They don't have any like distinguishing factors outside of like
long hair.
Yeah, I guess I'm assuming some genders here, which might not be a good idea, but I don't know if Titan's actually is Titan a gender? Maybe that's just
it's a gender, yeah.
Give it a few years.
Who knows? But anyway, those are our recommendations, and I haven't gotten the evil eye from the wife, so we can probably continue going.
Yes. We haven't had evil RYLEY.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot. I was gonna go into the surprise subtopic.
I think we need to hear evil RYLEY's story of the week.
Okay, I have actually. Last week's story was pretty weak. With Nazi Legos and all that.
Oh, I don't think it was weak.
It wasn't quite as strong as the previous two. I didn't think it was. But this one, I'm going in a different direction because it has nothing to do with toys. And Jess has heard this story, and it was actually Jess's idea that I share this story here. Said, oh yes, this is totally an evil RYLEY story. It has nothing to do with anything geeky.
This is great.
So, introduction.
Okay.
I went to school at the University of Houston for college. That's where I graduated from. My original degree was in the fine arts. I had always wanted to do fine arts since I was a little kid. I wanted to draw. I wanted to do something in art. I wanted to draw comics mostly. But when I got into the program, I was really disenchanted by it, and I decided after 4 years, so as I was getting into my final year, because I was on a 5-year plan, I decided I didn't want to do it anymore, and I switched to my actual major that I graduated with, which was communications, but I kept fine arts as my minor. So I say that because this story takes place in one of my fine arts classes, which was a sculpture class. And I loved that class because it was one where I really had no rules behind what I was doing. It was just, here's a very vague prompt, interpret that how you will, use whatever medium you want. It can even be like a digital medium or like a visual medium rather than a physical medium, and bring it to class and, let us critique it. So now I don't even remember what the prompt was for this project at all. I don't remember what it was, but whatever it was, I was busy the entire length of when we were supposed to be working on it, and I never prepared anything. So it was the night before, and I'd been working on other classes. Y'all know how it is to be a student. It's rough.
Yep.
And it was the night before, and I was panicking, and I'm sitting there like, fuck, what the shit am I gonna do? I have not prepared anything for this class. It's the first project or the second project. Like, I can't afford to fail it. Like, I need to get the grade. Like, I need this for my GPA. Yada yada yada. The worries that every one of us students wind up having. And I continued to just watch Netflix because I was like, you know what, I'll think of something.
Like a champ.
Yes, that's how you do it.
That's the way to do it, kids.
And then figure it out somehow. So in my tired, blinded stupor, I decided, like, you know what, I don't even want to try anything. Fuck this. Like, fuck all these people. And I went in my closet and I just looked around and saw what the fuck was laying on my floor. And there was a canvas that was painted red, and I was going to use it to paint a picture of my sister at the request of my mom, because I had a self-portrait of myself, obviously, self of myself, with a red background. She wanted one to match. So I was going to do that for her, but I never did it because, again, I'm fucking lazy. And I just had this red canvas in my closet. And I looked around my closet, and saw a sword. I was like, okay, that's interesting. So I grabbed the sword, and it was this old, like, it belonged to like my great uncle. It was like a fireman's sword, it was like a celebratory arms. It wasn't meant to be used in any sort of battle or anything. It was just, it had like etchings on it that said like, you know, you served in whatever corps in the year whatever, and it was a really cool looking sword. So I kept it whenever, you know, the estate after like my great aunt died, I kept it, liked it, whatever. So I took it to school. And everyone's setting up their projects, and it's all like, you know, really like complex and interesting and intricate work. And I just go over to the wall and I find a like blank area, and I stick the canvas up there, and then I unsheath the sword and just like just chuck it through there. So I literally have just stuck a canvas on the wall with the sword. And I go to one of my buddies who's in the class, the only guy that I knew ahead of this class, and I said, hey man, so I didn't really do anything. And my idea here, and hear me out, dude, is that all of these pretentious motherfuckers are going to think that there's some sort of interesting message and like some sort of deep message behind what I've done here. Just, I want someone to be inside with me and know this, because I want to prove this to you, that this, as a fact, when they critique this piece, they are going to like examine the fuck out of it. And so it comes around to it, and I'm sitting there like, I'm like heart pounding, like, oh my God, here it goes, here it goes, here it goes. And sure enough, like they started talking about it, and they're like, huh, yeah, it's really, really interesting. You know, it looks like, you know, it's simple, but there's obviously some sort of some really deep thought behind it, because like you know, this was like 50 different people are all looking at it, and one person's like, oh, maybe it's the, you know, the canvas seems really fresh and new, but the sword is old. Maybe that's a, you know, a commentary on, you know, old versus new and whatever. And one person was like, maybe it's the angle, because it's not straight in, it's like at an angle. And they're like, well, maybe it's the shadow, because it looks like he aimed the light onto the sword in a certain way that it acts almost like a sundial. A certain time. And if you look at the time here, it looks like it's about like 4:30. What is 4:30? And it's almost 4:20. So like everyone's making these weird comments, and I had told the guy that my inside man, I said like, I want you to ask me what the name of this piece is, because I don't have a name for it. And whatever I come up with on the spot, they're going to think is really deep. And so he's like, hey, dude, what's the name of this piece? And I was like, time. And they were like, whoa, like just mind blown. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah. And I was like, I know. And yeah, that was about it. Like that, they continued to talk for like another 5 minutes about my piece and how like, you know, they wanted to understand what it meant and stuff. And I just sat there quietly, like, didn't say a word, just absorbed it. And then I took my sword out, took my canvas, left, went home, and got an A on the project.
Oh, awesome.
Excellent.
That's really good, dude. I don't have one like that, but I've got something kind of similar. I was taking an art class back in college as well.
Luis.
Yeah. No. I'm not that bad. I'm nowhere near as bad as you. And we all had to draw names out of a hat, draw things out of a hat, and based upon that is what we would have to draw. So my best friend, he draws death. And basically what ends up happening was that throughout this whole semester, this teacher was saying comics are shit, you know, comics aren't real art and everything. And he draws death. And if you know anything about death, guess which concept he used for death? He drew Neil Gaiman's Sandman's death. So he takes it into class one day, and the teacher is flipping her shit. Oh my God, this is incredible. This is the greatest interpretation of a character I've ever seen. This is amazing. This is groundbreaking. I need to publish this. He goes, no, you don't need to publish this. It's fine. This is just a one piece that's done. And I am laughing my ass off in the back of the classroom, and everybody in the class is like with their minds blown with it. I'm like, wow, you guys really have not read comics at all. Holy shit. He got an A for the project, and he passed the class.
Awesome.
And that just goes to show, kids, just because you haven't experienced something doesn't mean it's shit.
I actually wrote like I was in I don't know why it wound up being for my poetry class, but I was in a poetry class and I wrote a paper about comics as like a very like important literary medium. And my teacher was just blown away. He was like, wow, Riley, I've never even like read a comic before, but I need to read these books that you're talking about here because whatever. So it's really cool to kind of bring that in. And I never had the opportunity to take a class in comics, which I know a lot of schools do offer. Mine didn't, at least not the time that I was going there. But every time I got to write something about comics, it was always really fun for me. And I wrote like a thesis about comics in modern culture. Not just modern culture, but comics in American culture since the 30s. And it was just like however many pages of me going on about the history and how in every era and every decade, comics related to what was happening and how they affected culture. And blasted through that with an A as well, with actual effort. So,
wow.
But so there's our evil Riley plus a little bit of evil friend in there. The surprise subtopic, and just because we have some time, because my wife hasn't told us to stop yet, I had this little idea that we'd talk about funny comics, like comics that we thought were just freaking hilarious. I know the first week we had Jess on, we were talking about the Eltingville Club and how great that was, and that actually was the story that spawned the Evil Riley stories. So,
that's right.
I figured, why not talk about comics that really just made us bust a gut laughing. So I don't know if either of you guys had actually pulled any. I know, Luis, you said you had. I don't remember if
yeah, I do.
So if you wanted to bring up just one book really quickly.
Oh, one? Okay.
Just so we can breeze through it a little bit and just mention, you know, something about what made this book so funny to you.
Chew.
Awesome.
Yeah, my choice is Chew. For those of you that have never read Chew, it centers around a Chibopath. I believe that's the pronunciation, Chibopath. And essentially what Chew is that it follows around this guy named Tony Chew. And he has the ability that whatever he eats, he gets a premonition of it. He can see where it comes from. And essentially what happens in this world is that chicken is now outlawed because of the bird flu. And he goes around and solves different food-related crimes. It's absolutely hilarious. I've been going through it for my reread for a review, and just the amount of creativity inside Chew, the background jokes inside of it are absolutely hilarious. His partner/friend is like a half cyborg. There is this evil chicken called Pollo in the series that is absolutely hilarious. I see you laughing, Riley. Have you read Chew?
Oh yeah, no,
I
have too.
I'm anticipating the final like 2 issues coming out right now.
Pollo is my spirit animal. Basically, the best way to describe Pollo is that he is a rooster with a luchador mask, and he works for the FDA, and he will pretty much kill you. And he has now become half cyborg as well. And yeah, he is actually currently in hell, and he's killed Satan, and he's taken the seat of hell. It's a crazy ass series. It really is. If all of this sounds crazy to me, don't worry. In the context of the story, it strangely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I love Pollo.
Yeah, Pollo is awesome, and Chew is a great series. Jess, what did you what made you laugh?
I went a little bit more mainstream, although to me this book just cracked me up from the very first page, and it's not a surprise to anybody. Superior Foes of Spider-Man. I think this is Nick Spencer's best work. I loved the concept of these supposed supervillains of Spider-Man trying to form, you know, a new group, and they're basically a bunch of maladroits and bumpkins and keep bumping into each other and can't get their act together at all. And so I just love how they just can't seem to swing anything proper, and then they end up having to find some old man's head that's mounted on a little race car or something. I can't remember now, but I was like, what? Where did we get this? Who's and I can't remember who he was. Maybe the head of
Silvermane.
Yeah, Silvermane. Yeah, that's right.
Silvio
Silvermane, right. And so they had to find him to impress the mob or to try and take over the mob or some kind of stuff. But it was I loved how they just could not get their act together and were just constantly fighting, and some of them were cowardly, and it was just I thought it was actually, I think I'm going to reread it now that I've looked at it, because it was so good and so well done and just very funny, and I had a smile on my face the whole time I read it.
Shocker is the best in that book.
Yeah.
My favorite part about that series, just a little bit of it, was that they insist on calling themselves the Sinister Six.
Yeah.
Even though there are only 5 members.
Right.
I'm rereading it.
How many times someone will question it and they'll be like, but there's only 5 of us. And they're like, shut up, we're the Sinister Six. That little stuff, like the little bitty tidbits like that, the little jokes are really what made that series golden. Mine, real quickly, I'm continuing my same theme. This is a manga series, Cromartie High School. This series is fan-freaking-tastic. It is balls to the wall hilarious. And yes, that is a Freddie Mercury on the front there.
That's exactly what I thought it was. I wasn't sure if that was.
How many volumes is this? 4,200?
Exactly. No, this series in the US, they only collected 12 volumes. I believe there was like 17 in Japan or something by the time it finished. They never finished collecting it. So I'm very disappointed, but there's not really much of a continuing. There is kind of continuing stories throughout, but it's made up of these short chapters that each one is just ridiculously bizarre. The thing is that this is a comedy series for people who are familiar with Japanese manga tropes and like anime tropes and stuff, because it makes fun of every single like high school anime and high school manga series, and it has all those same characters that you would expect in the other series, but it like turns them on their head and just makes fun of everything. And you have like it's just ridiculous. The premise here is this guy, the main character, he winds up going to this school, Cromartie High School. And all the schools are named after baseball players, so that's Warren Cromartie. So all these schools are like home to the most badass like gangster thug kids in Japan. And this kid goes in there and he's like, oh fuck, like I've made a mistake, I'm in the wrong place, I'm gonna get fucking killed. And the first day at school, he like sees all these people and it's like, oh man, there's a guy with a scary looking mohawk. Oh man, that guy's huge and muscular, like he's gonna kill me. And then like he turns the corner and then there's like a gorilla and he's like, what the fuck? Like why is there a gorilla? And he turns another corner and there's a robot and he's like, is that a fucking robot? And everyone's like, no, he's not a robot. That's Mekazawa. Like he's just one of us kids. And then like there's Freddie Mercury and they literally just call him Freddie and he never talks. He just like does the pose with the microphone and like rides on a horse. It's the most bizarre series that I've read, but I return to this series so much just for giggles because of how goddamn funny it is. And like the characters, they're just so, I don't know, they're so strange. And like even the more human, like more normal ones, they're just weird. Like the things that they wind up doing, the things they wind up getting into. And sometimes it's like, you know, really weird. Sometimes it's just someone being fucking stupid. Like they get left behind on a field trip and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. So all of a sudden they become like I feel like the guy became like a CEO of a company or something was what wound up happening. Like somehow they get in these weird situations, but it's not it's kind of a non sequitur series in that most of the chapters don't continue on from previous plot lines. So you could jump in really at any point and just check it out and be like, oh, that was funny. Like chapter 6 had Freddy in there and they introduced his character, and now I know that there's a big guy with a hairy chest and mustache that looks like Freddie Mercury running around in a Japanese manga series. Interesting. But it's so bizarre and funny. And there's actually an anime series of it. It was very short. I think it was like 13 to 26 like 10-minute episodes. And it's just as bizarre as the manga was. I recommend it because I think it's all available on YouTube. Just checking out a couple of those and like laughing your ass off, especially if you're familiar with like Japanese culture and like tropes in manga series. It's definitely one that I think is one of the funniest comics I've ever read.
Oh. I'm gonna have to check that out. That sounds great. You sold me at Freddie Mercury.
I tell everyone at Freddie Mercury, honestly, like everyone I see, they're like, what's Cromartie High School? And I'm like, have you ever wanted to see Freddie Mercury in a Japanese high school? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, well, you're about to. Like, okay.
Nope.
But yeah, so that's my comedy series. That was our bonus little topic for today.
Bonus time. Bonus time. Sorry, that was my theme for bonus time.
Now our final segment of the day. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. Would be taking questions from our viewers for the next 10-15 minutes.
Questions.
So
questions. We've got answers to your questions.
Jazzy.
If y'all have any questions that you want to ask the three of us, I can't guarantee answers, but you're free to throw them our way.
I'll sing my answers tonight.
Hey Riley, are you gonna pick up that Death Note book? Like the big ass one that's like this big in one volume?
Yes.
Have you seen that?
Yeah. Have you seen the price on it?
No, I haven't.
It's the equivalent price in they translated the yen to American dollars is $25.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
There's
that's
no
what
way.
when I saw the article, someone translated it and was like, yeah, that's like $25 American. And I was like, Jesus, if that comes here and it's that cheap, you bet your butt I'm gonna buy that.
There's no way it's gonna be that cheap when it comes.
No, it's not gonna be that cheap. I think it's because in like Japan, those volumes, like manga volumes, regular ones, are pretty much like a couple bucks each, American. It's very, very cheap over there, as far as I've heard from someone that was over there. But yeah, I would buy it like just for the sake of having it. It depends on A, if it comes to the States, and B, if it's not some ridiculously overpriced. Like if it's like $250, fuck that noise. I'll stick to the black editions. But I probably would never actually read it. I would just have it for the sake of being like, look at this shit. Look at it. But I would keep my older editions to actually read.
I think the binding will snap on that before you even get.
Oh yeah, no shit. Like that thing's gonna look like fucking horrible by the time you finish reading it.
Yeah. They're asking, what's the hype behind Rachel Rising? Only one per customer.
Because it's goddamn awesome.
It is really good. Rachel Rising is really good.
He made very few of them, and so they're limiting the amount you can buy.
Yeah.
So he doesn't run out.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Terry Moore, he self-publishes everything. He does everything on his own. He's not part of any corporation or anything like that. So the reason why he put together this omnibus and he put together so limited amount is because he self-publishes it. So he limits the amount that people can buy because he wants, obviously, people to get the story and read it, and for scalpers not to buy 10 copies of it and then resell them online for a hiked up price. Right. But the story is good. Rachel Rising is really good.
Although I did see some people were able to get multiple copies of the black edition. So,
scumbags.
What's the rare one? Is it the black one or the green
one?
The
black one.
The black one is the rare one.
Okay, because I've seen the green one readily available a lot lately.
Yeah, it's been on in stock trades regularly. I think the cover price is like what, $75, and they have it for about 50.
And the black is the hardcover.
They're both hardcover, and then they're going to release a paperback later.
Okay. What's the difference between the black and the green?
The black was the limited edition one that was a little more expensive, that had print
plate,
come with it. Yeah.
You have it, Jess?
I do, yeah. Let me take us over here.
Because I have the series all in trades, and I'm fine with that. Like, I don't see a real need for me to upgrade, but it's still a great series.
Yeah, the hardcover is not oversized at all, just for anyone interested. I mean, as far as I've realized. So if anyone is interested, I don't want you to be disappointed if you wind up getting it and being like, oh, man, it's small. People do. They totally do.
Comes with a
Ooh.
little kind of sexy little print of her sitting on her gravestone all the times she's risen.
That's cool.
And of course, my copy is sealed, but it's black. That says Rachel Rising on it. You can see pictures of us on the air right here, right?
Hi, Mom.
That's what the cover looks like. It's YouTube videos right on it. Yeah, so it's black, limited edition, and mine's 209 of 750. So there were only 750 of these made, and it came with a print and like a signed bookplate or something in it too. I wouldn't know because I haven't opened it yet.
Yeah, people are asking. People are asking, how's the quality of the book?
Quality of the binding, you mean, like?
I guess that's what they mean, yeah.
Don't know, haven't opened it yet. Not gonna until I'm ready to read it.
I heard the buy.
That's no, I'm just the kind of guy I am. I don't take the cellophane off until I'm ready to read it.
Better hope there's no typos or misprints.
Or torn pages, yeah.
You know what? I'm paranoid now because somebody in the group posted that they got an Amazing Spider-Man Omnibus Volume 1, or it was an Uncanny X-Men Omnibus Volume 1, and like the first 40 or 50 pages of it, there were no words in any of the bubbles.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's a bizarre issue to have.
Yeah, so I am about to flip through every single one that I have sealed and make sure that everything is fine.
No way. Everything stays sealed till I'm ready. 10 years from now.
Yeah, I open everything right away and flip through to make sure everything looks good.
I consider it like a prize in a cereal box if there's mistakes. Yeah, that's a rare copy that somebody's got with no word bubbles going on in it. It's a one-of-a-kinder.
Yeah, it's the silent edition.
Write your own dialogue edition.
This is what I think Wolverine would say here.
Fuck Stan Lee.
Hi, Mom. All right. Did we get any other questions? I think everyone's just bashing Jess for not opening his books.
Yeah, I think everybody's giving you hell right now, Jess. I haven't seen questions.
You infidel. Never.
Well, we know what evil Jess is now.
I'm looking for questions. I can't find anything. Y'all need to ask us some stuff because I'll ask y'all.
Start asking people questions. I love the smell of opening a new book. Yeah, me too. I'm weird like that.
I do too. It has a very distinct, very sweet aroma.
Oh, that's Gio. Hey, Gio.
I'm the same way with video games too. It's kind of weird. I like the smell of a new video game.
Just like smell that Blu-ray disc.
Yeah, I lick it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you ever lick one? It's a little bitter.
Has anybody read Strangers in Paradise? I have not. I've been wanting to read it.
I haven't read it.
I have read it, but I have back in the day when it was in singles, and now it's impossible to find in hardcover. I would love to have a hardcover omnibus set of it. It's 2 books and then some annotations, I think. That's up there with like Yozagi Yojimbo #1 and Punisher Omnibus by Ennis. It's just a really rare thing to find. But it's a great book. but I read it back in the 80s and 90s when it was in singles, or maybe 90s rather, when it was in singles.
Yeah, I've heard great things though.
Yeah, it's great.
Emily Donnelly is giving the go-ahead on Strangers in Paradise. So.
Oh yeah, she loved them. Em loved that.
Ooh.
What title other from the big two are you enjoying the most right now? I think we get something similar to this almost every week, but I like getting those questions because I kind of think about something else every week that I forgot about the previous week. So what outside of the big two are y'all enjoying right now?
I didn't prepare for this.
I'm currently not reading too much right now outside of like the standard stuff. Rick Remender's new book is pretty good. I read the first issue and I thought it was really good. What's the name of that?
7 to Eternity.
Yeah, 7 to Eternity is really good. I enjoy that.
Those books are going. First printings are going for crazy money on eBay.
Yeah. Have you guys read Mark Millar and Greg Capullo's new book, Reborn?
Not yet.
I haven't read any single issues. No.
It's one issue in, and I've heard it's pretty good. But Greg Capullo also announced that he's going to team up with Scott Snyder next year again. So.
Oh, that's good news.
Yeah, he announced it on his Twitter. They've got plans to team up on something next year. I'm hoping Image. I'm hoping they're going the indie route, but we'll see what happens.
They're doing something at DC. It's an event that's going to focus on Batman.
Are they? Is that what it is?
They mentioned that at some point last week. I know that Felipe posted it.
Aw. I'm just kind of hoping he'd break away from the whole Batman thing with Snyder for a bit. I mean, I love this Batman run, but we got
a Batman story. It's a story with Batman for DC. Like it's focusing towards Batman.
Oh, okay.
So I think it's an event. As far as non big two, the one I'm going to bring up today is Jughead. The current Jughead series is freaking great.
I'll tell you what I hated, and I may catch flack for this, but
ooh, I know which one it is. Is it Sabrina?
It's like you read my mind. What a piece of junk that book was. Oh my God, the art was awful. There was no plot. There was stupid stuff all over the place. It was like some kid just took his crayons and smeared them onto the page for artwork. And I was so excited to read it, and I was just like, this is a piece of junk. I hate it. So I hated Sabrina. Anybody out there that disagrees with me, blow me. It was terrible.
Fight me.
Yeah, fight me in this room right here.
Is that the horror spinoff from Afterlife with Archie? Is that what
yeah, exactly.
Oh. I liked Afterlife with Archie.
I liked it too. Yeah, that's what got me so hyped on Sabrina.
Oh, yeah, that's so disappointing.
Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah, I was excited to read it, and I read the first issue, and it was just really drudged through that issue and didn't even want to return to the rest of it. Like,
oh my God.
It just wasn't worth my time.
You don't know how disappointed I am right now, because I love the original premise of what I heard about it, but I never heard anything else about it.
Yeah. Well, save that hour of your life.
That's how long you get to go through one issue.
Yeah, it is a drudge.
I'm still waiting for the second volume of Afterlife with Archie. It's been like 2 years already. Come on, guys.
And the second volume, oh man, the story in the second volume is so good.
Yeah, I've heard.
This is a funny one. F. Mary Kill, Frank Miller, Greg Land, Orson Scott Card.
Kill Greg Land, marry Frank Miller. What was the other one?
Orson Scott Card.
Yeah, Orson Scott Card.
You're having sex with him?
Yeah, sure.
Like, is it a literal fuck, or is it like, fuck that guy?
No, it's having sex with him. That's what F. Mary Kill is.
Well, I'm going to say fuck that guy.
The guy that wrote the question?
No, just whoever I choose as the fuck part.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to agree with the comment that Superman by Tomasi and Gleason is fucking awesome. Or freaking awesome.
Oh yeah. Superman by Tomasi and Gleason is great right now.
What is a book that surprises you? Something that you didn't think you will like, but somehow enjoyed immensely?
I'm American Alien so far.
That's a good question. Why would I have bought it if I didn't think I would like it?
Yeah, because I hate Max Landis, but there are bits of
personal thing.
Yeah, I can't stand Max Landis. I didn't even ask. But American Alien, parts of it are really good.
Luis doesn't collect comics. He just comes on here and comments about them. This question says, Luis, where's your collection?
Yes,
he doesn't actually collect them.
My whole channel is a lie. I don't have any books. In fact, if you knock over the back of when I do videos and reviews, it's just a giant cardboard cutout. The whole thing just falls over.
He doesn't even use a green screen.
No, fuck that shit. It's cheaper to. Why would I do that? I just got a friend, cardboard cutout, and boop, falls down. No, this is just easier for me in the current setup I have right now. Because it's kind of a pain. You guys, it's a pain in the ass for me to record reviews and to move the futon over by the books and then have to set everything up. This is just easier for me right now. And I'm lazy right now.
I'm just sitting on the floor. So.
We don't all have a sanctum sanctorum like RYLEY does. And, where he's got everything with fingerprint locked and everything to get into the room. It's serious. You have to give a blood sample.
That's upgraded from the urine sample, thank goodness. When he was into that,
yeah. Things got really messy.
Yeah.
Oh God, let's see. Let's get another question here.
I'll say that I didn't think I'd ever like Harley Quinn as much as I do. When I started reading it, I just thought this is going to be stupid, and it ended up being one of my favorite comics. That's the current incarnation for that question about what book you were surprised with.
Yeah, I didn't actually enjoy that one.
What? Get off my video! Oh, it's your video.
I'm on the side that I thought I would enjoy it, and I was excited to read it, and then I read a few issues of it, and I was just like, I didn't get it, I guess. I don't know. I just didn't see any draw to it, and I wound up stopping reading it, and now it's like I haven't touched it in a long time, and I don't know, maybe it's gotten better since the first arc or two, but just was not really for me.
Not your cup of tea. Fuck you, Riley. That's okay.
Oh, man.
What big books are you looking forward to?
I don't know. I mean, November 1st is pretty much the day that everybody's going to regret. And
my gosh.
All our wives and girlfriends are going to kill us when they get that bill.
I'm headed straight to probation pie again.
Electronic statement. Okay? I'm telling you right now, you delete that bitch the minute you get it in your email.
How did we lose all our money? What the hell?
You maxed out the credit card? Funny story. Everything comes out November 1st. I hate you guys so much. Marvel. I'm talking about Marvel specifically.
And then I have, how bad would it be to start with Death of X? I don't know if either of you guys have read the first issue of Death of X.
Haven't. No.
Well, I have. I will tell you a thing about Death of X.
Oh, God.
Don't start with it, number one, because it's not the start of any story. There's a reason why they're releasing it at the time that they're releasing it. Also, a lot of people have the misconception that it takes place in the current time, but it actually took place between Secret Wars and the beginning of the current books, like Extraordinary X-Men. So a lot of people are looking at it and they're like, Death of X means every single X-Men character is about to die.
Yay!
Which obviously that's not what it means, because freaking all of them are alive by the time that Extraordinary X-Men starts, aside from maybe a handful, and most of it's just we haven't seen some characters and don't even know if they're alive.
Yeah, or the ones we don't care, like Gold Balls and Speedball and things like that.
But Gold Balls is alive, and he is He is in
uh,
Bendis' Spider-Man book.
eh.
But there's, I mean, people take it as this like misnomer, I think, and look at it with a complete different eye than they should. As well, people are kind of looking down on it because a lot of people who want to read a good X-Men book also want to hate on the Inhumans, which is dumb because the Inhumans are great and they have always been great, and Charles Soule is a damn good writer. And his Inhumans books are all fantastic. So a lot of people are going in there and they have this idea of like, you know, this is just dumb. It's just a way for Marvel to kill off the X-Men and then replace them with the Inhumans. But it's not, because they're going to do, you know, Death of X, and then it's followed by all the current arcs of like Extraordinary and All New and Uncanny X-Men. And then that leads forward into X-Men versus Inhumans, which is going to be a big event in a couple of months. And then that leads into the Resurrection story, which is which features it looks like a bunch of the characters getting their own books is what they've been teasing, and is more or less the resurrection of the X-Men franchise, and kind of I don't want to say resurrection because it's still been there. It's just the resurrection of a lot of having a broader franchise rather than being finessed down to just a half dozen books. But they've been teasing stuff like Generation X, Weapon X, Iceman, Jean Grey have all already been teased, and I'm sure there's a couple of more that are coming up. It's unknown whether of those are ongoing or not. We don't know whether those, what creative teams they even have, or anything about that. But all I can tell you is that it's killed off the idea that people have been saying for the past several years that Marvel wants to kill the X-Men because they hate the X-Men, because that's not what's happening at all. And I've been sitting in my corner happily knowing that this wasn't happening, and now I don't look like a deranged lunatic, basically.
Yeah.
Well, you do sort of without your glasses.
No, and it's come on, guys. They're not going to kill off the X-Men.
There, that's better.
Marvel isn't that dumb, okay? The X-Men still bring in a lot of money to comics. They still sell comics. They're not going to pull a Fantastic Four and just completely write them off. The Fantastic Four, at that point that they decided to do whatever they were going to do with them when Hickman decided to pretty much write them off at the end of Secret Wars, is not going to happen to the X-Men, because the Fantastic Four weren't selling. The movies were bombing, and the Fantastic Four after Hickman left weren't doing that well. So Marvel decided to shelve them, and they don't have the rights to them, so that's why they decided that. The X-Men still sell. The movies still do well, clearly. We're going to get Logan next year, which, by all intents and purposes, when we saw the trailer,
we're dying for.
Oh, it looks so fucking good. But the X-Men aren't going anywhere. I can almost guarantee that.
Ooh, here's a question for me. Woohoo! Jess, do you have any whales you haven't been able to harpoon yet? Yes, as a matter of fact. The one we just talked about, Strangers in Paradise Omnibus in hardcover. It's out in softcover, but I would, of course, like it in hardcover. Very difficult to find. Haven't been able to find that yet. And the other one would be the oversized slipped-cased version of the Inkle. In the Jodoverse. I would really like to get that, and those are both extremely pricey, hard to find. I've never seen them out in the wild, but those are the two whales off in the distance. Somehow I will harpoon them someday, or maybe not. I'm getting up there in years, you know.
You know, I've always wanted to dive into that, but I have no clue where to even start. Like with the Jodoverse.
Oh, the Inkle is the first book to read.
Okay.
I mean, even before the Inkle and after the Inkle, those can be read after that. But yeah, start with the Inkle. It's excellent.
Okay.
Luis, now that you've gotten your big whale, what do you have remaining on your hit list?
What do I have on my hit list at the moment? I'm trying to think. I really don't have anything too much on my hit list. Oh, yeah, I know what I want. I want and I know it's not going to happen anytime soon, the 5 Captain America omnibuses. Those are my next ones. Yeah. And you can get a few of them for a good price right now, but I think volume 1 is a pain. No, it's the Death of Captain America is the pain, right?
Yeah, that's the hard one. Really hard one.
That's volume 3, I think, right?
Death of is 2.
Death of is 2?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the thing is, there was a set that was going on eBay the other day for about $500. And I was looking at it, and I was like, do I really want this right now? I didn't pull the trigger on it, though.
That's a pretty good price, though.
It is. For all 5, it's a really great price.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, considering I think cover price for all 5 of them would come out to maybe $400 or something like that.
Yep, but you see, the lady that's sleeping in the bed over there, she would kill me in my sleep. She would kill me in my sleep if I did something like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't hear the end of it either. And then my biggest whale, I think I've mentioned before, probably at the moment, is the 4th Punisher Max oversized hardcover. And then after that, the Omnibus, the Ennis Punisher Omnibus. And then I also have been wanting to grab the Silver Surfer Omnibus, the Captain Britain Omnibus, and lowest on this list would be X-Men by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, Volume 1. It's lowest on my list of whales because I don't want it for the content and quality of content, but just to fill that gap on my shelf. The stories are not real good.
It's just like an itch you have to scratch.
Yeah, it's something like I have the 2nd volume that actually has good material, like the stuff that that Neil Adams drew, but the 1st volume doesn't have any good, really, it doesn't have any really good stories in it. It's decent at points, but sometimes it's just hard to get through. And I need it because I have that 2nd volume, and I want it to stick in there so I can have that complete run on my shelf.
Do you think we'll ever see an Uncanny X-Men Volume 4?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
I
have zero doubt.
What would that collect? That won't finish. That won't even be close to finishing Claremont's run, right?
Oh no, it'll go through if Corey Settlemeyer and Mark Beasley know what they're doing, and usually they do. They're really good at their jobs. It'll collect through the X-Men Ghosts paperback, which has through issue 209, and this leads up to the Mutant Massacre crossover.
Okay.
And then it will also contain the Wolverine and Kitty Pryde miniseries.
So are we even close to collecting the entirety of Claremont's run in Omnibus? Because I don't know how long Claremont ran.
The first 4, I mean the first 3 plus the 4th one that I just noted, and then after that there's a bunch of crossovers. It's Mutant Massacre, and then there's a small gap after Mutant Massacre, which I believe that they'll put out into another oversized hardcover called like Mutant Massacre Aftermath. And then after Mutant Massacre, there's going to be Follow the Mutants, and that's followed by the Inferno Prologue and Inferno. And then beyond Inferno, there's the 1st and 2nd X-Men by Claremont and Lee omnibus editions. And between those two was one of the crossovers, the Extinction Agenda, I believe, happened between those 2 volumes. All of that together makes up his initial run from like issue 90 whatever all the way through 200 whatever.
So it's got to happen in order to finish up that set.
Yeah, they're seriously, it's like 2 books that they're lacking, and then it's done. Like that 4th volume, I have zero doubt in my mind that it's going to come in the next few years or so, maybe even sooner, because they've actually gotten really good at releasing things in a really timely manner.
New Hatchet catalog should come out pretty soon.
Yeah, and there's one person saying they doubt they'll print Kitty Pryde and Wolverine in Volume 4. If a Volume 4 happens, it's definitely going to be in there because that story ties into the issues that are in there, and they have they have collected all of the related miniseries in the past. They've collected the Magic series. They collected the Wolverine series. They even put in the what's it called? God Loves, Man Kills. If it's written by Claremont and it's X-Men related, it's going into those omnibus editions. They've even put in like Heroes for Hope, the one shot from like some donation drive or something that they did a while back. I don't remember what it was, but anything Claremont, it's going in there. So Kitty Pryde and Wolverine, it's going to be in there.
We're overdue for that Hatchet catalog. I think that's how you pronounce it. Pretty soon, I think, aren't we?
It should, I think, coming pretty soon, maybe next month or something.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what's going to come out of that. We know, obviously, the new Spider-Man Omnibus is going to be in it. And then the Monster Bus that they've announced as well. And there's my cat. Okay.
The answer
So let's
to
see, you
one
guys.
question.
What's up?
Is the Martha Washington slipcase omnibus really rare? Yeah, that's hard to find. That's from Ricardo. That's a hard to find one. I know the answer to that.
Do a couple more quick ones, and then we'll wrap it up. I like Matt Miranda's question. What's the best Wolverine story? I know everyone here's got their opinions on that.
Old Man Logan for me.
Yeah, me too, probably.
I'm going to say Weapon X.
Good choice.
By Barry Windsor Smith.
Yeah.
Just such a really visceral story with the character that the artwork is just amazing throughout.
Although now we know it's pronounced Weapon 10.
Oh, yeah.
But it was Weapon X for 20 years.
But I mean, Grant Morrison said.
Yeah.
What Grant Morrison says is canon.
All right. Anything else?
I think that'll be it for me.
Any other questions we need to answer before we go?
This guy really wants to know why I hate Marvel Knights Punisher
Yeah, he
so
really
much.
does.
God, he's been on here for 2 hours and he's asked the same damn thing.
Don't answer it. Don't answer at all.
The beginning of another evil Riley story. Don't answer that guy's
Jeez,
question.
Man. Don't do it.
Why do I hate it so much? I think it's kind of... I don't like it. I don't like the tone. It was Ennis trying to write Punisher before he got into Punisher Max, and you could tell in some aspects I think it was a bit more watered down. Yes, he does throw a guy into a polar bear pit, which is pretty crazy and fun. But I just didn't like the tone of the series. I just, it wasn't for me. Have you read it yet, Riley? Or Jess?
No, I haven't.
Yeah,
That's
I've heard.
why I refuse to spend
Yeah.
overcover on it, because if I wind up not liking it, I don't want to have...
Yeah, I've heard mixed things. I've heard it's not that great, and you're just overpaying because it's massively out of print.
Yeah.
This is number 4 we're talking about?
No, Marvel Knights. The Marvel Knights Punisher by Garth Ennis.
Oh. The Omni?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. The question was why you hate it so much?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't add anything to that. I don't know why Luis hates it that much. He just told you.
I couldn't tell you about Luis's opinion. Why are you asking?
Go ahead, Riley. Let him know what my feelings are. Go ahead,
Luis
Jess.
hates it because fuck the Punisher. That's why he hates it.
Seriously, Old Man Logan? Yes, it's called an opinion. I'm sorry. It may differ from yours. Yeah, I'm kind of in a grumpy mood today. Sorry. I'm not in the mood for any of that stuff.
I like Old Man Logan quite a bit. I see many flaws in it, but it's very just widescreen comic storytelling. So it's a lot of fun, but it's not one of my absolute favorite stories. Like I think it's good. I think it's fine. But yes, I'm gonna agree with Robert here. We are tired.
We are tired.
I'm
exhausted, man.
Clock every morning, so I'm always tired.
I've been up since 5:30, so.
Oh yeah. So let's. I guess we should call it a night, guys. It's been a good show. We got a lot of good topics to go over. I feel really good about what we've done here today.
This was fun.
Hopefully you've all enjoyed this, and hopefully people who are catching it later on when it's recorded, you guys have enjoyed it as well. Thank you so much for watching this long video. Thank you, Jess, and thank you, Luis, for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you as well, Riley.
Next week, of course, we'll be over on Luis's channel. Real quick, you guys, if you want to let them know where they can find you. Jess, I know that you don't have a media presence, but Jess, you can be found on my group, right?
I can be found on the Omnibus Collector Pop Shop and Drop Swap. What's the name of that page again?
That's what it's called.
Okay, you can find me there as Omnidog, otherwise known as Jess Bragg. And Ryan Sace is a bastard. Just wanted to say that.
As always.
As always.
Luis, where can they find you, as if they don't know?
You can find me on Facebook under Hardcover Reviews, under Twitter under Hardcover Review. Yes, I couldn't get the S for some reason on my Twitter handle. It's stupid. On YouTube, you can find me as well under Hardcover Reviews. I do weekly reviews of comic books, omnibuses, all that good stuff. And if you want to kick a couple of bucks my way and help a brother out right now, Patreon is a great option. We are really close to hitting the $100 mark. We hit that, and I will be doing a hardcover or trade paperback giveaway, and you get exclusive videos not seen anywhere else.
I'll say you're pumping out the content.
And I'm dying a little bit inside. Because I'm barely sleeping right now. What is sleep right now?
See, that's why I don't have any videos outside of these live streams, is because I've been embracing sleep.
Oh, it's a nice dream, isn't it, Riley?
Yeah. No, I'm working on getting back to making videos. I want to do at least one other video per week, so I can just maintain content. And I don't have a Patreon set up, but y'all can always donate to me some way else. I obviously am not going to say no to that. But
trust me, when you do, the floodgates of hell will come flying right open. You are going to use that band hammer like you've never used it before.
The whammy hammer.
I'd probably just like open up Patreon and be like, all right, guys, if you want to give me money, give me money. If you don't, whatever. I don't care, because I'm still going to do the same shit. Which apparently is nothing.
So pay me for my presence, is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically. I don't know. I'm getting back on writing articles as well, because that's I enjoy making videos, but I like writing stuff a lot more than I enjoy making the videos. So I want to get into doing more wish lists and stuff, and you guys will see that popping up in the next few days.
Good news.
And yeah, it's a lot of fun for me, because that's where I put a lot of my effort, is with research into that kind of stuff, and then I spit it on out on the other side.
Good.
So I'll
good
be doing
news,
more.
everybody.
Good news, everyone. I've stolen more ideas. Greg Land still sucks.
Good news.
But anyway, you can find me here on my channel. I am the Omnibus Collector on Tumblr. You can look up my website. It's just theomnibuscollector.com. That's where I post all my articles and stuff that I write about upcoming books, books that I want to see published in the future, my wish list posts, stuff like that. As well, my Facebook page that Jess mentioned, the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. You can join there. If you have trouble joining the group, it might possibly be because we can't tell whether your profile is real or not. So PM, just send me or Jess or someone a personal message, and we'll make sure that you get in there. Otherwise, I hope everyone has a really great night, and we will see you all next week.